Good evening, everybody. We are just about set for some Super Football Conference high school football. The Bridgemen of Fort Lee High School are hosting the Scarlets of Ridgefield Park High School. Couple North Jersey teams going at it. And this is a divisional matchup underneath the Friday night lights. The sun is not completely set. Ooh, isn't it nice that we're still in summer, technically speaking? But eventually it will be dark out, and we will only have the lights to shine on these high school stars. Welcome, everybody, to the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex. My name is Tommy Aquilina. Again, it's the Fort Lee Bridgemen hosting the Ridgefield Park Scarlets. Fort Lee won the coin toss and deferred to the second half for a second consecutive week, so it will be the Scarlets taking over first. Kicking things off will be Fort Lee's kicker, number 88, Shawnee Viner, and with that, we are underway. Kickoff is fielded on a hop. It's going to wind up being a short gain. Ridgefield Park will start off this game deep in their own territory. The Ridgefield Park Scarlets, 0-1 under Chris Rapp. They opened their season 8 days ago on September 5th. That was a Thursday night game, actually, and they fell at home to Cliffside Park 34-13. The Fort Lee Bridgemen entering action 1-1, coming off a loss a week ago. We have a whistle before the first play.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The microphones are working beautifully for the referees tonight, so you probably heard what they said. It's an encroachment penalty against the Bridgemen. It'll be first down and 5 for the Scarlets at their own 25-yard line. They're going to start things off with a handoff here. Getting around the edge and getting knocked out of bounds is number 4, Kevin Velasquez, the junior running back. It's a first down for the Scarlets.
9-yard gain, first down and 10 for Ridgefield Park to 35.
It was a 9-yard gain on 1st and 5, so a good start for Velasquez and the Scarlets. Again, they only put 13 points on the board in their first game of the year. Fort Lee is also coming off a 34-13 home loss. That was last Friday night against Fairlawn. Almost getting there for the Bridgemen was number 6. That's Donovan Doss-Young. He did not get there in time. The pass was completed. Number 6, I believe that's Andrew Poss at quarterback. He got a pass off, and it's going to be second down and short. Specifically, it looks like it'll be second down and 2. And I believe that is number 6, Andrew Poss at QB. Number 3, Francisco Then, had his arm in a sling. He's one of the captains of the team and one of their quarterbacks, but he is out with an injury, evidently. So I believe it's Poss who will be handling the QB duties. He hands things off to another captain, Dorian Gator, and it's a very short gain for the senior. That'll bring up third down. The other 2 captains besides Then, senior Dorian Gator and junior tight end / linebacker Isaiah Carlos, number 0. Not quite 90 seconds gone by in this game. We already have a third down. It's going to be 3rd and 1 for the Scarlets at their own 44-yard line. Man in motion, that was Isaiah Carlos. Fort Lee looks like they're going to bring the house. The Scarlets taking their time here. Pass is completed to Velasquez, and the running back, Vince Velasquez, has a first down reception.
Leposki on the stop. First and
So a couple first downs for the Scarlets. They are, I guess, technically still in their own territory. Ball downed right at the 50-yard line. So far, Paz, who is a senior himself, has been relying on some upperclassmen, the junior Velasquez and the senior Dorian Gator. They give it to Gator, and he goes nowhere. Multiple Bridgemen are in there, including number 10, Ron Leposki.
Leposki in on the stop. Second and 11 at the 49.
It's a loss of 1, so it's going to be second down and 11 from the Scarlet 49. Fort Lee did put up 42 points in their first game of the year, a 42-0 shutout victory at Memorial back on August 29th. So the Bridgemen are 1-1 on the season. Neither team played crisp offense last week. Surely they want to turn that around as we get a little bit deeper here into the football season in the month of September. That's a bad snap. Paz is just going to fall on it. To be honest, I thought a receiver might have gone a step or a second early for the Scarlets. No call was made, but on the bad snap, it is going to be a massive loss of yardage. Oh my goodness, they're backed up to their own 35. That should be a loss of 14, and it'll be 3rd and 25 here for the Scarlets. Plays like that get you 13 points in your first game of the year at home. I would imagine they would go with a short pass play here, try to eat into that yardage and not give Fort Lee great field positioning. A receiver almost went early again. Paz is on the move. Paz is going to keep it. He avoids a man. And Andrew Paz runs for a first down on 3rd and 25. No. It's a long gain. Not enough for the first down. He does get into Fort Lee territory. Looks like it's going to bring up 4th and 9. And it looks like the Scarlets are going to punt. So it wound up being a play where the quarterback was forced to run, and they do end up avoiding giving Fort Lee great field positioning right off the bat. This time we do have a flag thrown.
Good ball. False start. Offense number 4. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
It's a false start called against the Scarlets. So that was a big run play by their quarterback, but now they're going to lose 5 of those yards. Fort Lee will probably wind up with good field positioning here. That was something they struggled with last week. Azel Orta was back to receive the kick. Now it's Jalen Balbuena who replaces him with the Scarlets back in their own territory. Paz himself punts it away. And it looks like Balbuena will not field it on any hops. No, he will not. Kevin Velasquez downs it. And so it's actually not great field positioning. That worked out pretty well for the Scarlets. They do not score on their opening possession, however, and not quite halfway through the first quarter. Mike Gerst's Fort Lee Bridgemen will take over on offense. Gerst, in his first year as the head coach for the Bridgemen. Prior to that, he had been the offensive coordinator at Wayne Valley High School for years, now a head coach, and he has a record of 1-1. Looking for his first home win tonight in his second attempt. Quarterback Luke Senator handing things off, and getting wrapped up and dragged to the ground is Fort Lee number 9, Josh DeHoyas. DeHoyas, a big part of the Fort Lee offense and defense as well. They fake a handoff here. Senator completes the short pass to Balbuena. Jalen Balbuena is taken down by number 6. I believe that is Paz.
Bring up a 2nd and 3 for the Bridgman 33.
It's 2nd down and 3 for the Bridgmen. Senator pitches it back to DeHoyas, and with a head of steam, Josh DeHoyas to the 45-yard line. It's another first down for the Bridgmen.
First down for the Bridgman at the 47.
Early in this game, they have already moved the ball significantly better than they did really all of last week. Offense looked kind of sluggish as they only scored 13 points at home, but here DeHoyas is leading an early rush for the Bridgmen. You see number 8, Guy Vickers, out there. Looked like he might have injured himself at the end of last week's game, but obviously there he is on the field, healthy and ready to go. They fake a handoff to DeHoyas, and it's Vickers. Speak of the devil. First down grab. Nicely done.
First down for the Bridgman at the Ridgefield Park Score. It's 42.
4 and 6.
So another first down for the Bridgmen. They are now in Ridgefield Park territory. Specifically, they're at the 43. Senator with 6 touchdown passes, no interceptions so far on the season through 2 games. Fakes a handoff to DeHoyas, gets rid of it. Jalen Balbuena gets out of the tackle. And eventually some Scarlets do take him down just at the 30-yard line, maybe the 29. Jalen Balbuena has 4 of those touchdown receptions that Senator has thrown on the season. The other 2 belong to DeHoyas and Johnny McCann. The Bridgmen looking to get into the end zone. High snap, Senator handles it, takes it himself, and is taken down by multiple Scarlets, including number 1, Dorian Gator. Mentioned Isaiah Carlos. He was also in on that one. Carlos, not only a tight end, also a linebacker for Chris Rapp's Scarlets. Gain of 3 for Senator on the play. It's 2nd down and 7. Getting instructions from Gerst on the sideline. Senator fakes the handoff to DeHoyas. His pass cannot be completed. Couple players upset with that one. Poss, who was almost there for the interception, and also the intended target of Senator. That was Matt Kim, number 5. Kim in motion. Senator goes that way, now stops and throws the other way. Got to have more on that throw. He did not quite reach Jalen Balbuena. That'll bring up 4th down. Let's see what Gerst decides to do here. Looks like they're going to be a little aggressive and maybe go for it on 4th down, or at least try the hard count. They are going for it on 4th down. Senator in and out of the hands of Matt Kim. It'll be a turnover on downs. Not a bad play, really not a bad pass. Matt Kim was unable to haul it in, and so the Scarlets will take over fairly deep in their own territory. They should have it at about the 25-yard line. So neither team scores on their opening possession. Ridgefield Park takes over with 3:01 to go here in the first quarter. Andrew Poss and company takes over. A couple players in the backfield with him. Carlos and also Velasquez. And running in for the sack, Ron Leposki.
Bring up a 2nd and 14 for the 21.
It was not a great snap, so the play was almost doomed from the start for the Scarlets, but Pass easily taken down by Leposki. And number 10 has himself a sack. It's a loss of 5 on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 15 at the 20 for the Scarlets. Now it's Gator in the backfield. Velasquez turns himself into a viable receiver. Good snap. Pass. Has to leave the pocket. Looking to throw it. Now I think he's going to run with it, and he is taken down. It's Leposki again. Ron Leposki has been all over the place. Multiple Bridgemen were chasing down Pass, and eventually Leposki was there. Not sure if that'll go down as a sack or not. Might just be a straight tackle of Pass. Now I think that's a sack, and it's a loss of 3 on the play as well. So 3rd and 18 for the Scarlets from deep in their own territory. Number 60, Avery Artis, one of the offensive linemen for the Scarlets, lost his helmet, so he had to leave the field. Has to now go off for at least one play. And it'll be 3rd and 18 with a little more than a minute to go in the opening quarter. Like Fairlawn last week, the Scarlets very cautious, really taking their time, getting their play calling down and ready to go. So with the huddle broken, the players are lining themselves up now. Just under a minute to go now in the first quarter. Pass rolling to his right, throwing the other way, and his throw did not reach Isaiah Carlos. That'll bring up 4th down. Might be a little obvious, but the Scarlets, red is their primary color, wearing red pants, red helmets, and white uniform tops with red numbering. Whereas Fort Lee wearing their home blacks with orange accents and white numbering for the 2nd week in a row. Pass to punt. Recovered in Ridgefield Park territory. Jalen Balbuena held onto it as he was tackled right as the ball got to him. Impressive that he held onto it. And Fort Lee will have tremendous field position for their 2nd offensive possession of the game. Only 43 seconds remaining in the first half, or the first quarter, I should say. Fort Lee will have it at the Ridgefield Park 49-yard line. No gain on the quote-unquote return for Jalen Balbuena. Balbuena off to a very good start his senior season. 100-plus receiving yards and multiple touchdowns in each of his first 2 games of the season. They fake the handoff to De Hoyos. It's Balbuena past the line of scrimmage. He has the first down running down the sideline. Pass pushes Balbuena out of bounds. Move those chains after a gain of 15 for Balbuena on first down. Senator staying in the pocket, staying in there. His throw is out of bounds. Good coverage there by number 8, Ian White. Senator stayed in there for a while. There were a couple Scarlets right in his face, and he did get popped as he threw. Wasn't a bad throw, but it also wasn't a great throw. Not really a great chance for Balbuena. 19 seconds remain in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 from the Ridgefield Park 34. No handoff here. Senator is stripped of the football. I think that's going to be Ridgefield Park ball, and it will be. Stripping it was number 9, Mark Martinez, the senior. With the fumble caused, Dorian Gator fell on it. He'll get the recovery, and Ridgefield Park will take over with 13 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Oh, man. Great play by a couple senior defensive ends for the Scarlets. And it's a turnover for Luke Senator. Ridgefield Park will have it at their own 41-yard line, so they advance 7 yards from where the Bridgemen were. Huge play after Fort Lee had tremendous field position and got off to a good start on that drive. What do the Scarlets have here? Pass with the handoff to Gator. Now they give it to Velasquez. He goes the other way. And Velasquez has himself a first down, eventually tripped up by Guy Vickers. Kevin Velasquez all over the place for the Scarlets. And that first down run will take us into the second quarter. After 12 minutes of action, the Bridgemen of Fort Lee and the Scarlets of Ridgefield Park tied at 0 here at the Sugarman Sport Complex.
Tonight's sponsor for the game, William T. Birch Children's Fund.
Want to give a shout out to the Fort Lee Athletics proud sponsors for the 2024-25 school year and season, the William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, the Finest Construction of Fort Lee, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me of Fort Lee, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, the Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank of Fort Lee Pizza, and the Collective Hair Salon of Fort Lee. Thank you so much to our proud sponsors. Thank you for tuning in on a Friday night. The Bridgemen of Fort Lee tied with the Scarlets of Ridgefield Park 0-0 after 1 quarter of action. Not a ton of offense. We did have a strip turnover by Mark Martinez of the Scarlets, recovered by Dorian Gator. And so Ridgefield Park has it. They are currently in Fort Lee territory looking to get on the board. Oh, someone had to leave early there. Yeah, flag on the play.
Pit ball, encroachment. Defense number 6, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They're going to call encroachment on that one. So that's a 5-yard penalty against Donovan Doss Young, number 6 of Fort Lee.
First and 5 from the 42.
So 1st and 5 for the Scarlets at the Fort Lee 42-yard line. Both teams scoring 13 points last week in home losses. This week held scoreless in the first quarter. Both teams trying to get on track offensively, although they definitely have to be happy about the defense they've played so far tonight. Pass to Kevin Velasquez. Velasquez is close to the first down.
Wilkins on the stop. 2nd and 2 for the 39.
It's going to be a gain of 3 on 1st and 5, so 2nd down and 2 from the 39-yard line. A divisional matchup here for these teams. An Ivy Red divisional matchup. We'll talk more about that later. For now, it's 2nd down and 2. Pass, trying to avoid a sack. His throw is caught by Carlos. Isaiah Carlos, eventually taken down by number 23. That's Jaden Cushney, number 23 of Fort Lee, making the tackle. But a first down catch and run for Isaiah Carlos.
16-yard gain. First and 10 at the 13.
The Scarlets are in the red zone. High snap. Pass gives it to Velasquez. Avoids the first Bridgman he encounters. And now a mass of bodies pushes Velasquez backwards. A Scarlet has once again lost a helmet. Oh, I think that was Velasquez. So he's going to have to sit out this play. And Chris Rapp and his coaching staff are going to have to go another way on this one.
Gain of 3, second and 7 from the 10.
They're going to give Velasquez a 3-yard gain on that carry, so it's 2nd down and 7 with just under 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Like I said, a divisional matchup in the Ivy Red. Last year, Ridgefield Park was in the American Red division. Fort Lee was in the Ivy White division. Now they're both Ivy Red teams. They didn't play last year. Divisional matchup here in September of 2024. High snap and a whistle.
Good ball. False start. Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
They're going to get wide receiver Christian Izquierdo, number 5, for the false start.
15.
So it'll be 2nd down and 12 for the Scarlets. Izquierdo, a junior, along with Velasquez and Carlos. Velasquez back out there in the backfield along with Gator, and they have Pass, their QB, sandwiched in the middle, and we have a timeout.
Timeout. Ridgefield Park.
By Ridgefield Park. Chris Rapp uses his first timeout on 2nd and 12 with 8:58 to go in the second quarter.
Athletic trainer Tom Murr, fully volunteer ambulance corps, and the athletic training staff. Thank you for all your assistance.
Both teams missing key pieces tonight. No Francisco then for Ridgefield Park. And the Bridgemen are also missing a captain, Dimitri Vonderlinden, one of their important linemen, offensive and defensive line. He injured himself last week. He is on crutches and out tonight. So both teams trying to make do early in the season here. Ridgefield Park 0-1 on the year. This is their first divisional matchup of the season. They lost to Cliffside Park last week, playing their first divisional game of the year, their first road game of the year. Fort Lee playing a second straight divisional matchup where they host. Pass, back to pass. Pass, looking for the home run ball. Izquierdo not tall enough to handle that one.
Pass intended for 5. Pass intended is Izquierdo. Incomplete. 3 on the coverage. Trey Ori on the coverage.
It'll be 3rd down and 12 with 8:51 to go in the second quarter. Ridgefield Park at the 15-yard line, so you wonder if they would think about going for a field goal here if they are unable to score. They, of course, can get a first down without scoring. Looks like 4 eligible receivers for the Scarlets. Pass, back to pass. Pretty good protection. Gets a pass off, and it is almost intercepted by Amadou Traore. He was closer to that one than Velasquez was. So it will bring up 4th down, and let's see what Chris Rapp decides to do here. I don't see a kicking unit. Both teams do have pretty small rosters, so a lot of guys do double duty. Poss, for instance, is punting and playing QB tonight. It looks like the Scarlets are going to go for it here on 4th and 12 from the 15. Poss, pretty good protection again. Lasers one, and it is again almost intercepted. Izquierdo actually had to play defense on Traore on that one. Otherwise, to be honest, I think Traore would have had that one and he would have been gone the other way. So Izquierdo may be preventing a pick six, but it is a turnover on downs for the Scarlets, and Fort Lee will take over at their own 15. With 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the second quarter, the Fort Lee Bridgmen take over at their own 15, looking to break a scoreless tie here in their second home game of the year. Mike Gerst looking for his first home win as head football coach of the Fort Lee Bridgmen. Luke Senator hands it off. And a decent start on first down for the Bridgmen. That was number 9, Josh DeHoyas, on the carry. So far, we've seen a lot of DeHoyas from the Bridgmen. Senator hands it off again. Same guy, and it takes multiple Scarlets to drag him down. So 4 yards on those 2 runs for DeHoyas. It is now 3rd and 6 from their own 21-yard line for Fort Lee. 3rd and 3, so 6 yards on those 2 runs for DeHoyas. I would imagine they would throw here on 3rd down. It is 3rd and short. They're going to throw. Senator, Vickers has the catch, he has the first down, and it takes a trio of Scarlets to drag him down. That was Carlos, Aaron Vargas, and Poss in on that tackle. Guy Vickers somewhat struggled last week. He's looked a lot better today, getting to his spots, making his catches when he's had to. I believe that's his 2nd catch of the evening. It's a first down grab. And just about as we hit the 7-minute mark, it's a pitch. DeHoyas. Past the 30. And I thought we might have had a timeout. We do not. It's a 6-yard run for DeHoyas. Second and 4 coming up for the Bridgmen. They still have more than half of this second quarter to go, plus all 3 timeouts. High snap, Senator handles it, fakes a pitch. He'll take it himself, and he should have about 3 yards. No, he had 4 yards. They're going to give him the first down. A first down run for junior quarterback Luke Senator. With a fresh set of downs, Orta backs up to be on sides again. And now he makes the grab, trying to avoid tacklers, and he is eventually taken down by Gator.
Pass complete to Orta for no gain. 2nd and 10 at the 38. Gator on the stop.
Officially, it's going to be a 0-yard grab for Orta, so 2nd and 10 from the 38. Now about 5.5 to go in the second quarter. Another handoff to DeHoyas, trying to follow his lineman. He is wrapped up and dragged down by Gator and Velasquez as well. That was a short gain, so it'll set up 3rd and long for the Bridgemen. They move the ball back ever so slightly. It's 3rd and 6 from the Bridgemen 43. Hard count. Oh, I thought Senator got a member of the Scarlet Line. Now we have a whistle, and it's a timeout taken by Mike Gerst. So Gerst uses his first timeout, 4:39 to go in the second quarter. Fort Lee still has 2 timeouts. They also will receive the second half kickoff. They're doing a pretty good job controlling the clock game right now. But of course you want to get on the board, and also it's 3rd down and 6. So plenty of time for the Scarlets to potentially score if Fort Lee can't get a first down here. Fort Lee is still in their own territory, and if they were to give the Scarlets the ball back, they would possibly have a couple timeouts. Currently 4:39 on the clock here in the second quarter. Now we're ready for that 3rd down and 6 play. Different configuration for the Bridgemen. It's going to be a home run ball. Balbuena has it in the breadbasket. Jalen Balbuena has the touchdown on 3rd and 6. 57-yard touchdown hookup. Luke Senator and Jalen Balbuena. That is the 5th time in 3 games those two have connected on a touchdown. 6-0 Bridgemen. And now it will be Shawnee Viner looking to add the extra point. And he does. 7-0 Fort Lee with 4:31 to go in the second quarter after the beautiful Senator to Balbuena touchdown pass. So a timeout well used by first-year head coach Mike Gerst. Hard count didn't quite work. I'm sure the Bridgemen are happy with that now. They come out of the timeout, and Luke Senator hits Jalen Balbuena with a basically perfect pass. He dropped a similar ball that was right in his arms last week for what would have been a sure touchdown. This time it was a 57-yard touchdown grab. It's the first score of the night. Kevin Velasquez with a 15-yard return on the kickoff. And so Ridgefield Park will not have great field position as they take over and try to respond to that Fort Lee touchdown. They'll have 4:27 to work with and 2 timeouts. So they have plenty of time before we get to halftime. Balbuena did have 2 touchdown receptions last week, but he did also almost have a 3rd one. 2 last week, 1 tonight, 5 on the season. A little bit of indecision here from Pass, and it's going to lead to him getting swarmed by Bridgeman. That should go down as a sack. I believe one of the guys who got in there for Fort Lee was number 52, Bobby Conti.
5-yard loss, second 15 at 20.
We hit the 4-minute mark here in the second quarter. It is second down and 15 after a loss of 5 on that last play. The Bridgemen have been able to get to pass really all night. On second and 15, a handoff to Velasquez, and he is taken down by number 55, Cyrus Wilkins.
Wilkins on the stop. Third and 14 at the 21. Third down and 14.
Gain of 1 on that last play for Velasquez, so it'll be third and 14 for Ridgefield Park from their own 21.
Timeout. Fort Lee.
Fort Lee takes a timeout here with 2:59 on the clock. The momentum is really swinging in the Bridgman favor right now. So they take a timeout here to stop the clock. It's third and long. If you can get the ball back here, you could have really good field position. You could have time to work with, and they get the second half kickoff. So I think I'm thinking the same way that Mike Gerst is thinking, and I like the way he's thinking. Again, it'll be third down and 14 at the Ridgefield Park 21. With how easily they've been getting to the quarterback, I would not be surprised to see the Bridgemen send 5 potentially on this next play. We'll see.
2:59 remaining in the second quarter. Bridgman leads 7-0. Third and 14 from the 21-yard line.
Fort Lee rushes 4. Poss gets out of it, still on the run. He launches it downfield, and it is incomplete. Amadou Traore made up the ground he had lost on the receiver and got in there for the pass breakup. For a second, it looked like Aaron Vargas was basically going to be able to catch that ball and go, but again, Traore got there. Because it was a pass play, the clock stops. 2:49 to go. Ridgefield Park has to punt here, and Fort Lee should have solid field positioning here. Their return man is barely in his own territory. That's Balbuena. Pass to punt. Just barely gets it off. Donovan Doss-Young almost got there. On a few bounces, it's Balbuena. Stops, now blowing by Scarlets, running down the sideline, and eventually pushed out of bounds. Really nice return for Jalen Balbuena. Grabs it in his own territory. And is Fort Lee going to start things off in the red zone? No, not quite. But the Bridgemen are set up, suffice to say.
Ball to 25. 41-yard kick, 37-yard return by Jalen Balbuena. Fort Lee take over the 25-yard line. 26.
They have the ball set up at the Ridgefield Park 26-yard line. Great spot for the Bridgemen to start out at with 2:34 to go. They also have a timeout. Matt Kim in motion. Luke Senator rolling that way. Kim was open. Now he goes for Guy Vickers, who makes the grab. Poss lost him, and that is a first down reception for Guy Vickers. Senior tight end moves the chains. Still more than 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Vickers and Orta to the sideline. Senator with the Bridgman in the red zone. Pitches it to DeHoyas. Josh DeHoyas stood up. Oh, wow, what a tackle. Andrew Poss said, "You shall not pass." And then a second Scarlet came in to push DeHoyas back the other way. We're going to have an injury timeout here. Looks like there is a Scarlet down on the field. 1:47 to go in the second quarter. And indeed, the clock will stop and we'll have an injury timeout. Isaiah Carlos, the junior captain of the Scarlets, is making his way off the field. An important player, both as a tight end and as a linebacker for the defense, and the Ridgefield Park defense needs to step up here as Fort Lee has 2nd down and 5 from the 5. Josh DeHoyas with a nice run, tackled by Andrew Poss. And so it's 2nd and goal. The clock is once again running. It only stopped because of the injury timeout. Senator trying to take it himself. Luke Senator. Touchdown. 13-0 Fort Lee. Senator has 7 passing touchdowns this year. Now he has a rushing touchdown, and Fort Lee will look to exceed their score from all of last week here in the second quarter. Shawnee Viner's kick is good. 14-0 Fort Lee after they only score 13 points in their home opener. Minute 34 to go in the second quarter, and a 2-touchdown advantage for the Bridgmen.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense number 28. That foul being enforced on the kickoff.
And on top of everything, we have a penalty committed by the Scarlets on that last play. They just got number 28, Anthony Almonte, the sophomore, for roughing the kicker. And so they will lose 15 yards here on this kickoff. Fort Lee will send it back to the Scarlets. And then after 94 seconds, we'll hit halftime, and then the Bridgmen will get the football back because they deferred the opening kickoff after winning the coin toss.
The Bridgmen will kick off with the score at 45. It's 15 yards. You got to move it now. No other choice. It might be assessed maybe after. No, it can't be assessed after. It's now or never.
The officials are figuring out where to spot this ball now for the kickoff, given the penalty by Almonte.
The last goes to pass back for Ridgefield Park.
Ball being placed by Fort Lee number 80, Alteo Tabaku. And he will be kicking it off as well with Fort Lee up 14-0. Going to be kicking it off from the Ridgefield Park 45. Obviously, you don't want to boot it. He doesn't. Kick is handled by number 10, Carlos Hidalgo. And Hidalgo will get taken down at the 25-yard line. Jacob Greenberg making the tackle on the kickoff. Carlos Hidalgo, the sophomore, wearing number 10 with the return. So Ridgefield Park is kind of in a dangerous territory right here. You really want to make something happen before you go into halftime. They only have a minute 28 to work with. They do have time, 2 timeouts, but then after halftime, Fort Lee gets the ball back, and they're already up by 2 scores. And Ridgefield Park only scored 13 points all of last week. So you don't want this to get out of control. High snap. Poss hands it off to Gator, and Dorian Gator is tackled at the 30 by Donovan Doss Young.
Doss Young on the stop. 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5 at the 30-yard line.
So it's a 5-yard gain. But after this next play, we should be under a minute to go in the second quarter, so the Scarlets are going to have to pick things up here pace-wise. And they're doing the exact opposite. Doss Young just came off the field. He was replaced by Greenberg. Already under 50 seconds to go in the second quarter. Poss leaves the pocket. His pass is caught. That was number 9, Mark Martinez. We've already seen him make a big defensive play. He's also a tight end for the Scarlets. I believe it was a couple Bridgemen on that tackle, including number 7, Frank Vizerdo. Also, Ridgefield Park took a timeout. So that's their second. And they do have a fresh set of downs here, but they only have 28 seconds to work with. So just under half a minute to play. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Ridgefield Park at their own 36. Again, this is their first divisional matchup of the year. They lost last week to Cliffside Park. Fort Lee lost last week to Fairlawn. And those 3 teams, Fairlawn, Fort Lee, and Ridgefield Park, are now all in the Ivy Red division. Coming into this week, you had Fairlawn, Demarest, and Indian Hills all at 1-0. Then you had Ridgefield Park, who hadn't played a divisional game, so 0-0. And then Fort Lee, Bergen Tech, and Tenafly all tied for last in division at 0-1. All of those teams have the same record as divisional record, except for Fort Lee. Fort Lee is already 1-1 on the season. Poss handles the snap. He rolls to his right. Vickers chasing him, and Leposki tackling him. I think that'll be a 2-yard run for Poss as the clock will continue to run. And with Chris Rapp not taking a timeout here, Ridgefield Park kind of waving the white flag on scoring here in the first half. I think they are going to try to run one more play, and they will. They just barely get it off. The pass goes off of the fingertips of Ian White. Velasquez thought he caught it, but to be honest, it doesn't matter. They rule it incomplete, and so after 24 minutes of action, the Bridgemen lead the Scarlets of Ridgefield Park 14-0. Luke Senator with a touchdown pass to Jalen Balbuena, and then later in the second quarter, a 5-yard touchdown run of his own. So again, 14-0 at halftime here at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex. Want to once again thank our proud sponsors, the William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, the Finest Construction of Fort Lee, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me of Fort Lee, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, the Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank of Fort Lee Pizza, and the Collective Hair Salon of Fort Lee. Again, 14-0 Fort Lee at halftime. I will be back. Don't go anywhere, though, folks. An exciting second half is on the way. I sure do hope you're back, and if you are, thank you very much for rejoining us or for not going anywhere. Either way, you are watching the Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics stream here on YouTube. And right now, the Bridgmen of Fort Lee High School lead the Scarlets of Ridgefield Park by a score of 14-0. Second half action about to get underway here for this Friday night high school football game in North New Jersey. First-year Fort Lee head coach Mike Gerst looking for his first home win as head coach of the Bridgmen. They are 1-1 on the season. They beat Memorial High School at Memorial back on August 29th. 0-1 in September at home and in division on the season. And Fort Lee playing another Ivy Red divisional matchup tonight, hosting the Ridgefield Park Scarlets. Both of these teams first year in the Ivy Red division. Fort Lee deferred after winning the coin toss, and so they will get the football back here to start the second half. It will be Andrew Poss, who has been playing quarterback and doing a lot of the kicking tonight for the Scarlets. He will kick it off. Jalen Balbuena and Amadou Traore back to receive. Traore on a hop. Traore gets taken down at about the 30-yard line. In on that tackle was number 10, Carlos Hidalgo. And so Fort Lee trying to really take control of this game. The Ridgefield Park offense has yet to get clicking. They only scored 13 points last week, or 8 days ago technically, in a loss at home against Cliffside Park, held off the board here at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex through 24 minutes. Right now it's Luke Senator, a touchdown pass, a touchdown run, and a turnover in that first half. He fakes a handoff, and that is a low throw to Traore. Not the first time tonight that Senator has failed to reach one of his targets. Faked a handoff to Josh DeHoyas, who has been the primary ball carrier tonight for Fort Lee. They've done a better job getting Guy Vickers involved than they did last week, and Jalen Balbuena with a touchdown reception, his fifth here in the early going this season. Now it's Senator back to pass, steps up in the pocket, high throw. Azel Orta can't make the grab. He gets popped by Jalexander Pimentel. A little bit of a late hit, but nothing excessive, so no flag, and it'll be 3rd down and 10 from the Bridgman 30-yard line. Would be big here if the Scarlets could get possession back with pretty good field position, kind of negate Fort Lee deferring earlier in the game, especially already down by multiple scores. Good job in the pocket. Good job throwing and hitting Guy Vickers for the first down. Vickers with an 18-yard reception. It takes multiple Scarlets to bring down the senior. He points forward because that's the way the Bridgmen are going. About 90 seconds gone by here in the third quarter. Fort Lee, again, looking to go up by 3 scores. Both of these teams lost by a score of 34-13. Last week, Ridgefield Park hosting Cliffside Park, Fort Lee hosting Fairlawn. Now we have a flag on the play.
Dead ball, illegal substitution, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Fort Lee tried to make an illegal substitution. They get penalized for it, and so it'll be 1st down and 15. Now I think we're settled again. 1st and 15 from the 43. They fake a pitch. Senator going the other way. Senator, that needs to be caught, but it went through the hands of Jacob Greenberg. 2nd and 15 from the 43 upcoming. Last year, while playing in the Ivy White division, Fort Lee went 4-2, 7-2 overall. Last year, the Scarlets were in the American Red division. They went 1-4 and 2-7 overall. Looking for their first win of the season tonight, but they trail 14-0. Fort Lee, DeHoyas with the run. DeHoyas gets wrapped up by a couple Scarlets, and that's not much of a gain if it's a gain at all. Paz and Velasquez will be credited as the co-tacklers on that play. They're really the main two playmakers on this team on offense and defense. They give DeHoyas a gain of 2, I believe, on that one. So 3rd and 13. Senator, back to pass. Senator going for the bomb. Can't be caught. Flag. Flag. There might have been a flag before the play began. So it's not an incomplete pass. What is it?
Dead ball. Encroachment. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So it's a defensive penalty. That's why they let Fort Lee run the play anyway, but it is going to be encroachment. And so instead of an incomplete pass, it'll be a 5-yard gain, I guess, for Fort Lee. 3rd and 8 from the 49-yard line. That was Balbuena in double coverage. Here they hand it off to DeHoyas on 3rd and 8. He gets past midfield, but he will not have enough for the first down. Let's see what Mike Gerst decides to do here. He is going to just take the somewhat obvious play, and it looks like Fort Lee will punt about 90 or about 2.5 minutes into this 3rd quarter. It'll be Alteo Tabaku to punt for the Bridgemen. Paz is back to return.
Dead ball. Illegal substitution. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Another illegal substitution by Fort Lee. That's their second in less than 3 minutes here in the second half. And so it was 4th and 4. Now it's going to be 4th and 9. Fort Lee will snap it from their own 48. And again, it will be Tabaku sending it Paz's way. Gets the kickoff. High and fairly short kick. And Paz calls for a fair catch. At his own 27-yard line. So Fort Lee not really taking advantage of getting the second half opening kickoff. 9:05 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Scarlets take over on offense, but they have not really gotten anything going. They've only given up 14 points. Of course, Mark Martinez had that nice fumble caused before, but really offensively, it's kind of been a struggle for the Scarlets. 13 points scored through 6 quarters of action this year. Catch made by Kevin Velasquez, and the team's main running back gets past the 30. It'll be a 2nd down and medium play coming up.
5-yard gain, 2nd and 5 at the 34-yard line.
Again, coming into play tonight, Ridgefield Park had not played a divisional game, technically in 2nd place at 0-0. 3 teams were 1-0, and 3 teams were 0-1, Fort Lee among them, along with Bergen Tech and Tenafly, and Fairlawn, Indian Hills, and Demarest, all 1-0, entering play tonight. To be honest, I thought a Bridgman might have gone a little early. You might notice that Donovan Doss-Young kind of blew up that play, almost got to the quarterback and sacked him. I think Doss-Young might have gone a half-second early. No call, and so they let the play run. It winds up being no gain for Ridgefield Park. Could have gone a lot worse. It was 2nd and 5. Now it'll be 3rd and 5 from their 34. Still going in a full huddle, with Pass going to the sideline and coming back on a lot of plays. Still taking their time. The time is on their side for now. More than 7 minutes to go. Only the third quarter. Hard count doesn't fool the Bridgemen. Pass looking to the sideline, and now the refs blowing this play dead before it has a chance to be born. Okay, so not really. It was a whistle, not a flag. It's going to be a timeout taken by Chris Rapp. Mentioned the clock still being in favor of Fort Lee, but not too big of an issue for Ridgefield Park. Now they're down to 2 timeouts already for the remainder of the second half. 7:19 to go in the third quarter. Ridgefield Park, 2-7 last year in 2023-24. Looking to improve to 1-1 on the season this year, trailing 14-0 to a Fort Lee team that had the exact opposite record last year at 7-2. Bridgman 1-1 on the season. Again, Mike Gerst looking for his first home victory as head coach of the Bridgmen. Right now, his defense has 3rd and 5 at the Ridgefield Park 34-yard line. Pass, back to pass, rolling to his right, looking deep, little bit of a floater, and that pass will go out of bounds. Azel Orta was there, and he prevented Mark Martinez from being able to haul that one in. Martinez looks like he might have a slight hitch in his giddy-up as he gets back towards the line of scrimmage. Ridgefield Park will punt here with 7:12 to go in the third. Just having a tough time moving the football right now, the Scarlets are. Pass will go from throwing to kicking. And I believe it's Balbuena back to receive for Fort Lee. A whistle on the snap. They get the Bridgmen for having too many men on the field.
They didn't even measure that because I think it's 2 inches short.
And it was it 4th and 5? Because that 5-yard penalty would give the Scarlets a first down.
After the penalty, 1st and 10 for the Scarlets at the 39.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. A critical error for the Bridgmen. Not sure if that's more so on the coaching staff or the players, but you cannot. That is literally giving Ridgefield Park a free possession. They were going to punt. Instead, they have a fresh set of downs at their own 39. Yeah, they were at the 34, 5-yard penalty on 4th and 5. So Pass will not kick. He will throw. I mean, maybe he'll hand it off. No, he's going to throw. At the line of scrimmage, it's Velasquez, and Velasquez is met at the sideline and taken out of bounds by Donovan Doss-Young and Frank Vizerto.
2nd and 6 at the 43-yard line.
So the Scarlets maintain possession. We're now under 7 minutes to go. They have plenty of time. They just have not really been able to move the football on their own. They've had to rely on good field position and first downs coming via Fort Lee mistakes like that one or the aforementioned fumble caused by Martinez back in the first half. They fake a handoff, pass up the middle, and it's blocked. Batted down by number 55, Cyrus Wilkins.
3rd down and 6 at the 43-yard line.
Wilkins a terror on that defensive line. He will get credit for the pass breakup, or PB, on that play, and it'll be 3rd down and 6. Poss returns from the sideline and will now relay the play to the rest of his team. Once again, a critical 3rd down play upcoming for the Scarlets. They're still in their own territory here as they try to get on the board in the 3rd quarter. Poss will roll to his left. All kinds of time. Now he's going to take it himself. Poss breaking out of tackles. He's close to the 1st down. I think he has it. Impressive play either way by Poss. And it looks like they're spotting it, and they're moving the chains. I think Doss Young made the tackle on that play. He is currently down, and so with 5:54 to go in the 3rd quarter, we are going to have ourselves an injury timeout. We had a slight computer freeze there, so I want to apologize for that. But we are back in action right now, and so are Fort Lee and Ridgefield Parks. That works out nicely time-wise. Donovan Doss Young has made his way off the field. We're ready to go. It was a 1st down run for Poss, so this is 1st and 10 for the Scarlets at their own 49. Poss rolling to his right on this play. Short pass. Martinez has it. Martinez pushed out of bounds by Vizerto. Ridgefield Park is in Fort Lee territory. Clock starts going again. Still more than 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Poss fakes the handoff. Now he's going to hit Velasquez rather. Velasquez wasn't able to catch it. I know it's kind of a weird play when you're catching the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage, but Velasquez does have to find a way to secure that ball. The incompletion will make it 3rd down and 3. We've seen Gator in the backfield with Poss. Don't know if we will on this play, but a lot so far tonight. And also, since Isaiah Carlos came out of the game in the 1st half, we have not seen him here in the 3rd quarter. That would be a tough blow for the Ridgefield Park offense. It is Gator in the backfield. Velasquez moving, and we have a flag. Was it because Velasquez was in motion? Aaron Vargas was pointing as if it was a penalty against Fort Lee, and it is. Encroachment for the Bridgemen, and so for the 2nd time on this drive, once on 4th down and they're on 3rd down, a Fort Lee penalty gifts the Scarlets a fresh set of downs. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Fort Lee 39-yard line. To be fair, this is also the best the Scarlets have moved the ball all night long. Poss fakes a throw, goes that way again. Traore breaks it up. Pass was intended for Izquierdo. Traore, really good coverage tonight. got his arm up there at the last second without interfering with the receiver. Nicely done by Traore. It'll be 2nd and 10. If Izquierdo hauls that in, that could be 6 points for Ridgefield Park. Instead, 2nd and 10 from the 39 with 4:49 to go in the third quarter. Pass goes to Velasquez. He's able to hold on to it this time. Gets to the line of scrimmage. And with a defender on him, I believe it was Vizerto who came in there and finished off the tackle. Vizerto will get credit for half a tackle one way or the other. They spot the ball at the 37. So that's only a gain of 2 after all that. It'll be, they're going to say 3rd and a long 7 for the Scarlets. We are approaching the 4-minute mark of quarter number 3 here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Velasquez lines up as a receiver in between Martinez and Vargas. Pass is rolling that way. Pass throws. He was looking for Velasquez. Low and incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down and 7. I mentioned it before, Martinez definitely has a hitch in his giddy-up. He will head to the sideline. He'll be replaced by Isaiah Carlos, who I just said we had not heard from all half. Now we have. So Carlos is out there. Now Pass is back out there. It looks like Chris Rapp wants to go for it here on 4th and 7. And at this point, why not? Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, down multiple scores. They are in Fort Lee territory. Four eligible receivers for the Scarlets, and we have a whistle. Fort Lee takes a timeout here. That's their first, so each team is down to 2 for the second half. So both teams are down to 2 timeouts. 3:48 to go in the third quarter. This is a massive play. This could honestly be a game-swinging play. The Scarlets need to get on the board. If Fort Lee takes over here, a lot of time in the third would have gotten eaten up for Fort Lee's lead to not get cut into. They're up 14-0. They bring the house. Pass rolling to his right. Goes for the home run ball. Vargas in the end zone. Hauls it in. Was he in bounds? No. The referee says no. And it'll be a turnover on downs for Ridgefield Park. That's a backbreaker. Looking at the officials on the field, I think the official ruling is going to be an incomplete pass. I think they're going to say that Vargas was unable to haul it in. So a tough break for the senior wide receiver. Fort Lee, that was a long pass to the end zone. Fort Lee will take over at their own 37. Not bad field positioning at all. And I would not be surprised to see the Bridgemen pound the ground a lot here on this drive. We're now down to 3:38 to go in the third quarter. If Fort Lee goes up 3 scores here, you would have to feel pretty good about things. Senator on first down. His pass was intended for Balbuena. Based on the body language of the players, there might have been some miscommunication on that play. In any event, it will be an incomplete pass for Senator. We will now have Azel Orta back on the field as a receiver for the Bridgemen. They fake a handoff. Balbuena gets past Vargas, who was going for the interception, tries to back up, but a nice tackle by Kevin Velasquez all over the place tonight, offensively and defensively. Remember the old football highlights? Chris Berman, whop. Balbuena tried to do that, but Velasquez stuck with him and made the tackle. It's a 5-yard gain, so it'll be 3rd and 5 from the Fort Lee 42. So far, they're making a liar out of me. Not a liar, but a bad predictor, as they have not run the ball here. Rolling one way, throwing the other way is Senator. He's picked off by Martinez. Mark Martinez with the pick 6 to get the Scarlets on the board. He stripped Senator for a fumble in the first half. In the second half, he intercepts it and runs the other way. That's a 42-yard pick 6. And we have a game again. Mentioned how critical it would be for Fort Lee to go up 3 scores. Now they're only up 1. It looks like it's going to be Pass attempting the extra point for the Scarlets. Number 11, freshman Liam Radburn to hold. And the kick is good. Good job by Radburn. Give a point to Pass and give 6 points to Mark Martinez on the interception. Wow, a 2-turnover night for a guy who I don't think is playing at 100%, but he's been Lawrence Taylor-esque out there on the defensive end for the Scarlets. So it's 14-7 with 2:39 to go in the third quarter, and Fort Lee, after their second turnover of the night, will get the ball back. We are currently in the middle of an injury timeout. Fort Lee leading Ridgefield Park 14-7. 2:39 to go in the third quarter, but a Bridgeman is down deep in his own territory. The injury occurred on the extra point. Not the timeout we wanted necessarily, but I do want to take a moment to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors, the William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, the finest construction of Fort Lee, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me of Fort Lee, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, the Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank of Fort Lee Pizza, and the Collective Hair Salon of Fort Lee. Thank you so much to our proud sponsors. Thank you for tuning in here on a Friday night. We are ready to go again. Once again, 14-7 Fort Lee late in the third quarter. That was Donovan Doss Young, who was on the turf for a while. He wound up making it to the sideline of his own volition. So hopefully he's okay and back in the game. Pass kicks off to Traore. Traore goes around a defender, now trying to get to the outside of the letters, gets past Pass, and Pass winds up getting back in the play and making the tackle of Traore at the Fort Lee 35-yard line. Solid return there for Traore, making an impact on the defensive end and on special teams. So a good start field position-wise for the Bridgemen as they look to put that second turnover behind them. You're not worried about the clock, running, anything like that right now. You need to play good football, play good offense. A 14-7 game with more than 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. They do hand it off here. De Hoyos trying to be patient, and nothing opens up for him. He is swallowed up and taken down primarily by Velasquez and number 62, Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos Gonzalez, not to be confused with the former Colorado Rockies outfielder. Under 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Loss of 4 for De Hoyos on that play. Senator gives it right back to him. And he is met by Velasquez, trying to push through it, but Velasquez gets some reinforcements. Carlos got in there, and so did a couple other Scarlets. I believe that includes Ian White, number 8. Called his name once or twice tonight. 3-yard gain on that one for De Hoyos, so 3rd and 11 coming up. Senator back to pass. Hits Vickers in stride. Vickers into Ridgefield Park territory. Pushed out of bounds by Pass. And Fort Lee will take over at the Ridgefield Park 43. Guy Vickers, I want to say, has been much improved from this week. This week from last week. A significantly more impactful game. .59 seconds on the clock. Vickers was knocked out of bounds, so the clock stopped. And now we have a flag, so the clock will not restart. Another illegal substitution for the Bridgemen. In a lot of ways, they've played a much better game than they did last week, but you definitely want to clean up some of that sloppiness. Not the first time tonight they've been called for an illegal sub. So that penalty should set them back 5 yards. But the Bridgemen have been much better at moving the ball. Vickers has been a lot less hesitant on his routes. Senator has played well, although you obviously don't love the 2 turnovers. They said it was a timeout on the field. I don't believe that was Fort Lee's second charged timeout. I don't know why they would take a timeout there. I guess we will see as the night goes on. But I do believe right now that both teams have 2 timeouts to work with. After the penalty, it'll be first. No, I don't. Get you guys covered in a minute. It was a pitch on that play. and De Hoyos
Ian White on the stop.
with the carry. So what they ended up doing there is Fort Lee took a timeout rather than the illegal substitution penalty. So it was 1st and 10. After the 4-yard gain by De Hoyos, it is 2nd and 6, but Fort Lee is now down to 1 timeout. Balbuena, behind the line of scrimmage, he gets rocked by Andrew Poss.
Poss on the stop.
TFL for Poss, a tackle for a loss. And that might be the last play of the 3rd quarter. 3rd and long upcoming for the Bridgemen. Doesn't really make any sense for them to run another play. It will be 3rd and 10 for Fort Lee when we start the 4th quarter. Fort Lee 14, Ridgefield Park 7. Only score in the 3rd quarter was the pick 6 by Mark Martinez. Get ready for the 4th quarter, folks. Should be a good one. Tommy Aquilina back here with you for 4th quarter action here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Fort Lee leads Ridgefield Park by 7, and they have a massive 3rd and 10 play coming up at the Ridgefield Park 43. Luke Senator back to pass. Flag is down. Senator is going to step up and take it himself. He bowls over a defender. And let's see what happens here. Let's see what the flag is about, and let's see what the injured Scarlet in the backfield is about. Carlos running towards his teammate to see what the issue is. It does look like there's a Ridgefield Park member in a lot of pain. So this is an injury timeout being taken by the officials. Fort Lee has the 1 touchdown lead, but only 1 timeout remaining. Chris Rapp's Scarlets have 2 timeouts remaining. Only 9 seconds into the 4th quarter. And the officials have now confirmed that it was an offensive penalty. I really don't know why they let the play run if the penalty was on Fort Lee, but they had a couple men in motion at the same time when they snapped the ball, which is illegal, hence illegal motion. So it'll be 3rd down and 15 for Fort Lee at the Ridgefield Park 48-yard line. Should be a good one. And it's got to be exciting for these kids playing in a close game. Ridgefield Park lost by 3 touchdowns last week. So did Fort Lee, and wins are always fun, but Fort Lee beat Memorial 42-0 in the waning days of August. This is a nice close game for these two teams on, I guess not TV, but on YouTube underneath the Friday night lights. The injured Scarlet is being helped off the field. Needs 2 people to come in and help him. I think that's number 9, Mark Martinez. What a game he is having tonight. He's actually almost single-handedly kept Ridgefield Park in the game. A fumble caused and an interception that he ran back 42 yards for Ridgefield Park's only touchdown of the game. However, I mentioned even before he made that interception, it looked like he was hobbling around a little bit in between plays. Now he leaves with an injury. We hope he's okay. In the meantime, 3rd and 15 for the Bridgemen. Senator, being swarmed, gets out of it. Senator, throwing across his body, hits Leposki for the first down.
17-yard gain. Senator.
What a play. Leposki was Johnny on the spot.
31-yard line.
Luke Senator kept the play alive, avoided the pressure, and then while rolling to his left, he threw to his right, made a solid throw. Leposki with the first down reception. Great play by the Bridgemen. Leposki, a senior, Luke Senator, the impressive junior quarterback. So on 1st and 15, that is officially a gain of 16, taking the Bridgemen to the 32-yard line. Leposki adjusts his positioning. Now Balbuena in motion. Senator fakes that way. Oh, he wanted to throw it, held onto it. Now he's looking for Leposki deep. I think it might have been intercepted.
Incomplete.
It was incomplete. Leposki really ended up playing defense more so on that play. Jalexander Pimentel is a wide receiver, but of course on that play, he was the defender. He did wind up having a better chance at it than Leposki, but the ball falls incomplete. So Fort Lee gets to run another play. 2nd down and 10 with 10:35 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Ridgefield Park has looked better on defense than on offense tonight, but also their top defender, Mark Martinez, is out of the game. On 2nd and 10, a handoff, and getting wrapped up immediately is De Hoyos. That play absolutely blown up by Isaiah Carlos. The junior captain has been all over the place for Ridgefield Park. A couple other Scarlets got in there as well. They do say that De Hoyos made it to the line of scrimmage. Oh, no, they don't. Loss of yardage on the play. 3rd and very long for the Bridgemen. And a whistle. This time they do blow the play dead. It's a false start on the Bridgemen, specifically on
3rd and 18 from the 41-yard line.
number 8. That's Vickers. So it's now going to be 3rd and 18, I believe. Senator, back to pass, obviously. Stepping up, coming out of pressure, throwing on the run. Incomplete. Matt Kim was left all alone in the end zone. Pimentel tried to make up the difference, but if that throw was a little more on the money, that could have been 6 for the Bridgemen. Kim was left alone. Pass winds up being incomplete. Senator was on the run when he made the throw, and now Kim is unable to stay on his feet. So another injury timeout. They will check out Matt Kim. It's going to be 4th and 18 for the Bridgemen, so you have to imagine they will be punting here. .9:44 to go in the 4th quarter. And it looks like with Fort Lee only up by 1 score, they will give the ball back to Ridgefield Park. It looks like Pass is back to receive for the Scarlets. Senator is out there, but right now Senator is lining up as the kicker. And he will take it himself. High, short kick. It'll take multiple bounces. Fort Lee doesn't want it to go in the end zone, and it will not. Wasn't the prettiest kick, but on paper, that is going to be a very good punt for Luke Senator. Ridgefield Park will be at their own 4-yard line. That's a 37-yard punt for Senator. Really pinning the Scarlets back. I know it's only a one-score game, but I don't know if Ridgefield Park has 96 yards in them to tie this game up. Their only score came on defense. They do have 9:33 to go and 2 timeouts. But Fort Lee on defense has done a really good job avoiding the big play, something they did not do very well last week. Pass, after being back to receive that punt, now at QB, he hands it off as the Scarlets try to dig themselves out of this hole, and they really don't. That's a short run for Kevin Velasquez. Chris Rapp's team still being very methodical on offense. Pass going to the sideline and then coming back to the huddle to relay the play. We're now under 9 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. On 2nd and long, they're going to try to throw. Pass rolling, Pass throwing, Pass hitting Velasquez in stride. Nice play. Kevin Velasquez has the first down. Is he going to be penalized for taunting? I don't know if I agree with that. That really wasn't that excessive, in my opinion. He was pushed out of bounds with 8:37 on the clock. Ridgefield Park not backed up anymore, at least out of their own end zone. The referees do get Velasquez, not for taunting officially, but for unsportsmanlike conduct. I really didn't think that was excessive, and it was not the first time tonight that a player pointed forward after getting a first down. But it is a penalty. And it's a 15-yard penalty. So it is a first down for Ridgefield Park, but now it's a 1st and 25, and they're no longer out of their own end zone. Looks like it's not going to be 1st and 25. It will be 1st and 10. They're just backed up 15 yards from the previous spot. Pass to Velasquez, who has to fall down in order to hang on to it. He does make the catch, but it's going to be a short gain for the Scarlets. Not going to be a short gain. It's going to be a short loss. Velasquez wasn't even at the line of scrimmage when he got hit with that pass. So it's a negative 1-yard reception, 2nd and 11 for the Scarlets. still deep in their own territory as they look to tie this game up. Pass rolling to his left, throwing across his body. It's guess who? Velasquez trying to shake off Vizurdo, and Jacob Greenberg will finish him off. I believe they knocked Velasquez out of bounds, so the clock has stopped with 7:13 to go. We do have ourselves a third down play. Might be 4 down territory for the Scarlets, even though they're backed up so far. They just haven't been able to get anything going offensively tonight. They've been able to complete some passes, but they've all been short. They haven't really been able to make that big play or really consistently gain chunks of yardage.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 56, half the distance to the goal. 2 down.
And a face mask penalty against the Ridgefield Park offense will set them back even further. Half the distance to the goal line. They are backed way up. They might not be able to be in 4 down territory here, so close to their own end zone. I believe they got number 56, Sebastian Capurso, a freshman offensive lineman, on the penalty there. That's a killer. 2nd and 17 for Ridgefield Park inside their own 10-yard line. Timeout called by Ridgefield Park. Interesting. That should be their 2nd timeout. It's such a close game, but it really does feel like an uphill battle for the Scarlets. On this possession, they've been going backwards, literally going in the wrong direction as time slowly melts off the clock. 6:33 to go here in the 4th quarter. The Scarlets now down to their final timeout. And also, they've got more than 90 yards to go. They're down 7, so they need a touchdown on this possession. Officially, we are set up for 2nd and 17 for Ridgefield Park at their own 7. High snap, Pass handles it. Pass rolling to his right, throwing. He hits Carlos, and Carlos is tackled almost immediately. That was Leposki with a nice stop. 3rd and long coming up for the Scarlets, and honestly, this next play could be game. They're going to say that was a 2-yard reception, pass to Carlos, so it's 3rd and 15 from the 9. More than halfway through this 4th quarter. Pass back to pass. Defender almost got in there. Long pass. Not caught. Do we have a flag? Yes, we do. Aaron Vargas threw up his hand, and his hand banged into a defender. That's not a bad call there by the official. Fort Lee, I believe, just gave the Scarlets a little bit of life.
Pass interference. Defense number 3. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Traore has had a good game defensively, but he gets called for the pass interference there. 15-yard penalty, and Ridgefield Park goes all the way up to the 24-yard line. So they get out of their own end zone. They get a fresh set of downs. They still got to, at some point, move the ball themselves, though. 1st and 10 from their own 24. 5:25 to go. Pass to Velasquez. He avoids Vizerdo, now tackled from behind by Christian Bruton, number 20. First time we called his name tonight. Bruton, also a member of the Fort Lee boys basketball team. Larger role on the football team this year. That was a 2-yard reception for Velasquez. 2nd and 8 from the 26. There's also less than 5 minutes to go. Not in their own end zone anymore. This is definitely 4-down territory for the Scarlets. Might be their last chance, probably will be their last chance to try to tie this game. Pass, running backwards, trying to avoid a defender. He does. Can still throw it. He does. Pass incomplete.
Pass for pass incomplete.
Traore was there.
Traore was in coverage. 3rd and 8.
Now 3rd and 8. 4:25 to go.
It's 3rd down.
Again, you can feel a little bit more comfortable about being in 4-down territory here, so you don't need all 8 yards on this play if you're Chris Rapp. Let's see what he comes up with here. Four receivers lined up. Pass. Rolls to his left. He's got a man short. He hits him. That's Izquierdo, and he gets popped out of bounds. A couple Bridgemen were there, including Bruton. Greenberg and Bruton on the stop for Fort Lee. We have an injury timeout. There is a Scarlet down on the field away from the play. I believe that's Carlos. Isaiah Carlos and Mark Martinez have both played really well tonight for Ridgefield Park, but they've also definitely been playing through issues. Martinez had to get helped off the field earlier in the game. This is not the first time that Carlos has been down. Ridgefield Park gained 7 yards on that play, by the way. So it's a 7-yard pass from Pass to Izquierdo, and that should bring up 4th and 1 for the Scarlets. That would be at the 33-yard line, and that would basically be game. So we are awaiting the end of another injury timeout. Both teams have 1 timeout of their own remaining. Fort Lee with the 7-point lead. 4:03 to go here in the 4th quarter. An entertaining game, even with very little offense in this one. There have been exciting plays on offense and defense, but this has definitely been a defensive battle. 14-7 lead for the Bridgemen, and as a matter of fact, there have only been 2 scores on offense. Mark Martinez's pick 6, and then the extra point, is all the scoring for the Scarlets tonight. Carlos is being helped off the field, and so we are just about set for this 4th down and 1 play. With the time on the clock and with how well Fort Lee would be set up field position-wise, this play is basically game. Pass has Velasquez and Gator in the backfield with him.
It's fourth down. It's fourth down.
Officials reminding us that it is fourth down. Make no mistake about how big this play is. Very interesting. Ridgefield Park takes their final timeout. They let the clock wind down, and then when they could not get Fort Lee to jump off sides, they take their final timeout. Now there's under 4 minutes to go, 3:56 specifically. So you've got to go 67 yards. You have no timeouts. 2 of your top offensive players are out of the game, and you have not scored on offense yet tonight. That is the situation for the Ridgefield Park Scarlets. 0-1 on the season. They scored 13 points last week. They have not scored on offense this week. Fort Lee is 1-1, looking for their first home win of the season. Also looking to improve to 1-1 in the Ivy Red Division this year. This time they snap it. Poss takes it himself. Poss has the first down, avoiding a couple tackles, and eventually it is Bruton and also, I believe, a second Bridgeman as well who got in there on the tackle. Either way, it's a first down run for Andrew Poss. Risky to call the QB run there, but it works out. Actually, a pretty decent gain there for Poss. Now he passes to Velasquez, who is wrapped up by Vizerdo. That'll be a loss of yardage. Completed pass, but a negative play for the Scarlets. We have another injury on the field. It's a Scarlet again, and so we will take another injury timeout. Not only a loss of yardage on that last play, the Velasquez catch, a loss of 7. So 2nd and 17 for the Scarlets. Poss, couple pump fakes. Now he's got to avoid a defender. Now he's got to avoid multiple defenders. and he will eventually get wrestled out of bounds. That's going to be another loss of yardage. Like half of the Bridgman defenders on that play had a crack at Pass. Under 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. It's third down and a lot. Pass dealing with pressure, tries to step out of it. Floater of a pass, it's caught by Martinez, back in the game. He makes the grab, handles the tackle like a champ. But to be honest, I still don't think he got to the line of scrimmage.
4th and 13 at the 41-yard line.
Ridgefield Park is set up at their own 41-yard line. They need to get into Fort Lee territory here. Fort Lee is taking a timeout here. That's definitely for the benefit of Mike Gerst's squad, but it also kind of bails out Ridgefield Park a little bit. They don't have any timeouts remaining, so they cannot stop the clock unless they go out of bounds. There's only 2:02 remaining, and they're still not in Fort Lee territory. But it's been a slog this entire possession. A couple Fort Lee penalties and maybe one or two big plays for the Scarlets, but for a lot of the plays on this drive, they've gone in the wrong direction, either because of penalties they've committed or because of short passes or runs for negative yardage. The game feels a lot more secure for Fort Lee than it maybe should in a 14-7 game. High drama, though. 4th and long. 2:02 to go in the fourth quarter. Fort Lee looks ready to send the house. They do. Pass trying to run out of it. Vickers in his face. He's much taller than him. Pass goes the other way. Almost runs into his own lineman. He finds a man. It's Martinez. Martinez has the first down. Oh, my goodness. Mark Martinez was able to get away from all the defenders, make the grab, and scramble for a double-digit reception, a first down reception. Gets to the Fort Lee 45. Cliffside Park has to move because they have no timeouts. So now they're going no huddle. That pass was completed to Velasquez. It was a short gain. It was a gain of 1 yard. So 2nd and 9 from the 44. 88 ticks of the clock to go for Ridgefield Park. Like I said, one or two big plays here or there have kept this drive alive. The Scarlets are going to need one or two more to tie this game. Pass back to pass. Bruton held up by the defensive line. Now he gets past them. Pass airs it out. It'll fall untouched. To be honest, by the end of it, it looked like it was a couple Bridgmen fighting for that one. Martinez still not playing at 100%, so he could not get up as high as Leposki and the other Bridgman defender could. No one got it. It's incomplete. 3rd and 9 coming up. 11 seconds came off the clock on that play, so 1:17 to go for Ridgefield Park. Pass has Gator with him in the backfield as an extra blocker. Pass going that way. Pass throwing downfield. It is almost intercepted by Leposki. That was 4-on-4. Balbuena covering Velasquez. Leposki was almost there for the interception, but Velasquez broke it up. So, not for the first or even the second time on this drive. This is for all the marbles. 4th and 9 at the Fort Lee 44. 69 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Mark Martinez makes his way off the field. So no Martinez, no Carlos on this play for the Scarlets. And here we go. Pass in motion. Doesn't have a lot of options. He's going to take it himself. Pass has the first down.
First down.
A double-digit yard run for Andrew Pass on 4th and 9. Truly exhausted all of his options. Took as long as he could, and then somehow ran through a sea of black jerseys to get the first down. And then he went out of bounds, so the clock stops with 59 seconds remaining.
Game at the Bridgman 34, 1st and 10.
It was a 10-yard gain on 4th and 9, so they're at the Fort Lee 34. Again, a field goal won't do here. They do need the touchdown. We have a whistle. What for? Ridgefield Park has no timeouts. Okay, so reset a little bit. It's an injury timeout. Member of Fort Lee is slow to get up, and they are resetting the game clock to 59 seconds. Now I think we're ready to go. Pass, slowly moving to his left. A flag is down. Pass will get wrapped up and taken down by Bruton. Let's see what the flag is about. It's probably on Fort Lee. Three officials conversing. And it's a false start. I don't know why they let the play run if it was a false start, but that's what they call. So it's a loss of 5. Once again, Ridgefield Park goes the wrong way here on this final drive. 1st and 15 at the Fort Lee 39. Clock's running. Pass, back to pass. Wilkins in his face. Pass going deep. That was very weird, and it was incomplete. Ian White seemed to almost slow down at the end and be more focused on the free safety defender than he was on catching that ball.
2nd and 15 from the 39.
Very interesting. It'll be 2nd and 15 from the 39 with exactly half a minute to go. Ridgefield Park can do a full huddle here before this play with the clock being stopped. Velasquez lines up as a receiver. Gator in the backfield with Pass. He handles the snap, dealing with a couple defenders, rolling out. Pass trying to move his defender. Throwing, it is intercepted. Was Traore in bounds? No, he was not. A Fort Lee defender batted it in the air. Traore came down with it, but he was out of bounds. And this drive continues.
3rd and 15 from the 39.
It will end eventually. There's 7 seconds left on the clock. Oh my, that was a 23-second long play. Oh my goodness. It's 3rd and 15 from the Fort Lee 39. If they hurry, there's time for 2 more plays, but at this point, Okay, check that. The officials just reset the game clock from 7 seconds to 19 seconds. Those are very different times. So definitely time for the Scarlets to run 2 plays here. Is there enough time for them to go 39 yards? That remains to be seen. This has been their most sustained, if not their best, drive of the game. Poss backing way up. Now airing it out. A lot of bodies converging. The pass is intercepted. And now everybody celebrates. The referees sure did take their time there. They let the suspense build, and it is Donovan Doss Young coming up with the interception. Like I said, many bodies on both teams converged in the end zone. Doss Young comes up with the pick. It's with 10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and so the Fort Lee Bridgemen are going to hang on and beat Ridgefield Park here under the Friday night lights. Mike Gerst will have his second win as Fort Lee football head coach, his first home victory, and the Bridgemen will improve to 2-1 on the season and 1-1 in the Ivy Red Division. Luke Senator will take a knee to end it, and that is that. The Bridgemen of Fort Lee hang on in a defensive battle, and they beat the Ridgefield Park Scarlets 14-7. Luke Senator with a touchdown pass to Jalen Balbuena for 57 yards. Senator also with a 5-yard touchdown run. Both of those plays came in the second quarter, and Fort Lee wins it. 14-7 is your final. Ridgefield Park falls to 0-2 and 0-1 in division. Next week, on September 19th, Ridgefield Park will have another home game. That'll be against Fairlawn. The Cutters beat Fort Lee last week. Fort Lee at 2-1. In 8 days on September 21st, they will be at Indian Hills. We will not stream that game, but that should be a good one. Another divisional matchup between Fort Lee and Indian Hills. Tonight, I want to thank Dimitri Nanas. He makes these streams work. I also want to thank Fort Lee Athletic Director Michael Raftery. I want to thank you so much for tuning in on a Friday night. I'm Tommy Aquilina. Once again, your final score, the Fort Lee Bridgemen 14, the Ridgefield Park Scarlets 7. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great one. See you next time.